Let's see if he sees the same thing. Because in Revelation, John the Revelator said his feet was like brass and it looked like it was burned. But let's see what Daniel says.
Daniel chapter 10 and verse 5.
Uh-huh.
Then I lifted up my eyes.
So I looked with my eyes. That means you had to see something. Read.
And looked, and behold,
Uh-huh.
a man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with a fine gold of Uphaz.
So we know it's a man that was girded with linen with gold on him, right? Read.
His body also was like the beryl.
So now check this out. I want y'all to peep this. The same description John gave, where he said that he was clothed with a golden belt. He just said the same thing. He said he had a garment that was green and he had gold on him. It's the same description. Read.
And his face as the appearance of lightning.
And his face like the appearance of lightning. Give me Ecclesiastes 8 and 1, because everybody says, well, his face like lightning. Lightning is white, so his face got to be white. Let's see what Ecclesiastes 8 and 1 says. Let's see if it proves that. Because it says his face was like lightning. Let's see what that means.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 1. Who is as the wise man?
Uh-huh.
And who knoweth the interpretation of a thing?
Right. So that means that who can understand and interpret things, right? That means who's wise, right? Read.
A man's wisdom.
A man's wisdom
maketh his face to shine.
It makes his face shine. Remember, if anybody knows the story on Moses, when he came from the mountain from speaking with the Most High, what did they say his face was like? It was shining. It was glowing. That means he came down with wisdom. A man's wisdom makes his face shine, right? So now let's go back to Christ. So he had a face like lightning, meaning he had wisdom. Daniel 10, right?
And his face as the appearance of lightning.
He had wisdom. Read.
And his eyes as lamps of fire.
Oh, it describes it the same way. It doesn't mean that he had a literal fire in his eyes. It just means that he drunk wine, like the prophecy says. Remember, he made water into wine. He was a wine drinker, but not a drunkard, right? Because that's what the Pharisees try to say about him, that he was a wine bibber and a glutton, right? That was the prophecy on him, but he was not a drunkard. Read.
And his arms and his feet.
So now it ain't just his feet. Now it says his arms and his feet.
Like in color.
Like the color.
To polished brass.
Of polished brass. What color does brass look like? There we go, brown. Isn't that the same description from Revelation? And he said to write it in a book and send it out to the churches. It's not supposed to be hidden. So why is it that religion hides the appearance of Christ and gives you this guy? That's because religion was instituted by white people that enslaved us. You understand that? You had John Smith. You had Ellen G. White. These people created the religions like the Baptist Church and the the Jehovah's Witness, the Pentecostal churches. These people created these religions. And because they created these religions, they gave you their version of what they wanted you to see. They gave you their Christ. They gave you their gospel. They gave you their doctrine. If Christ looked like this, is that going to give black people value? If he looks like this, do you think that's going to give black people value? It is. It made me feel good to know that Christ looks like me. When I see this guy, I feel inferior. I feel like, damn, he made them better than us. We're a mistake. So now when they have their racial spews against black people, what do you think most of our people do? They believe it. When they have that racism towards us, we tend to believe it. Even though we say we don't, we believe it. And it shows in our actions because we kill each other. We do drugs. We have baby mamas. If you close your eyes and I said the word baby mama, you would not think of a black, of a white or a Chinese person. You immediately think of black people. That's bad for us to be able to say, damn, the minute somebody says baby mama, the first person I think about is black people. That's bad. That's not a good thing. Right? So now watch this, read it.
Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
So when somebody says I have a revelation, it means that they're about to reveal something to you. This is the revelation or the revealing of Jesus Christ. Read.
Which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass.
He said that he gave it to his servant to show, not to hide it. Read.
Verse 14.
Jump to 10.
Verse 10. I was in the spirit on the Lord's day.
So a lot of people think the Lord's day is Sunday. The Bible says that Saturday is the Sabbath. That's why in Spanish, for example, sábado in Spanish for Saturday sounds very close to Sabbath. Sábado, Sabbath. That word comes from that day that we hold as a holy day to the Lord. And as a matter of fact, when people actually do the correct research, you will find that the Sabbath was instituted before a calendar. Because a lot of people like to have a debate about, well, when did the calendar start? Who made the calendar? You got a Julian calendar and an ordinal calendar. We're not going to get into that debate because when we've done the research, the Sabbath was the day that was instituted first. And then our natural born enemy decided to create a calendar to observe the fact that we keep every 7 days holy. That way they can attack us because they knew on the Sabbath day we shut it down. We didn't do no work. We didn't go to war. We rested. So what better day to attack a people that are mightier and stronger than you than on the day where they're resting? So I gotta make a calendar to keep track of every 7 days that they keep holy and including other days that they keep holy, right? That's how the calendar came about. But watch this. Now we're going to reveal Christ. Read.
I was in the spirit on the Lord's day.
So on a Saturday, on a Sabbath, I was in the spirit. Read.
And heard behind me a great voice.
And I heard a voice behind me. That means that it's a person speaking. Do ghosts speak? I know that people like to say, ghosts say boo. Nah, ghosts don't talk. So this is a voice behind them. Read.
Saying, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last.
So we know that this is Christ because that's who the Alpha and the Omega is, right? He's the first created and the last thing that ever will be by the Most High God, right? Read.
What thou seest, write in a book.
What you what?
What thou seest, write in a book.
So why are they hiding this in church? When the Bible says what you see, I want you to write it down. When you see something and you write it down, what is that called? Good. Notes. What else? Drawing. Would you draw too? If somebody said when you see something, write it down. It would also be you drawing or sketching it, right? What you just saw. That means that this Bible had images in it. You understand that? This is how you're going to know for sure that he was a black man. Not only did it tell you he had woolly hair, not only did he tell you he had eyes red from drinking wine, not only did he tell you that he had feet and arms in color to brass that were burned in the furnace. Watch this.
Verse 15. And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burned in a furnace.
For those of you brothers just walked in, we're going over the Bible's image of Christ. It said that he had what?
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Christ's feet was like fine brass. So if you got feet like brass, it means they were brown. They were brown, right? Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
But that's how brown it was. It was black. Read.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
That means he was loud. Religion thinks they're worshiping God by giving you this image when the Bible just described him as a black man that talks loud with woolly hair. That brother right there got woolly hair. That's beautiful hair. So why is it that our people always want to change their hair and put blonde on it, straighten it out, get perms in it? Our sisters are making the beauty industry a multi-trillion-dollar industry from buying beauty products because they hate themselves and the image that God said was beautiful. What can you do with a woolly hair? What can you do with woolly hair? Y'all barbers, talk to me. I see some of the styles that you could do with woolly hair right now. What can you do with woolly hair? You could put it into an afro and pick it. You could put it into plaits, dreads. You could put it into braids. Can you do that with this white stringy horse hair? Or is it going to unravel within a couple days? They're going to be back here talking about, hey, put more glue in there. Spray some more of that holding spray. You didn't do a good job. No, that's because it's not meant for you. God gave the black and Latinos God-like hair. We're supposed to love our culture, our hair, our style. You're supposed to love that thing because he gave you hair just like him. Remember, he said, I make man in my image. You made it in the image of God. You got to love that power that you have with that hair. Read.
His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow.
And he had woolly hair that was white like snow. Does this guy have woolly hair that was white like snow? Absolutely not. Which one has hair like you? This guy. Read.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
He drank wine. There was a prophecy in Genesis 49 and 12 that talks about his eyes would be red with wine. Remember, his first miracle was turning water to wine. So what happens when you drink enough wine? It turns your eyes, the whites of your eyes, red, right? He was not a drunkard, though. It doesn't talk about him being a drunkard ever in the scriptures. Read.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
And his feet were like fine brass. If somebody went to the beach and said, I want to get bronzed, I want to look like brass, what color are they trying to be? My brother that asked the question, what color are they trying to be? Black. They go to get tanned, right? To get bronzed at the beach. That means they want to get darker. Read.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
But watch how black he was.
As if they burned in a furnace.
He was so dark, he was so bronze or brass that he looked like he was burned inside of a fire. If you burn anything in the fire, what color does it turn? So what color was Christ? Watch this.
Blessed are they that do his commandments,
Uh-huh.
that they may have right to the tree of life.
So the only people that are going to get into the kingdom are those who keep his commandments. But is it everyone? Is it everyone? Now let's get 20. Yeah.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 12. And had a wall great and high,
So the kingdom has a wall great and high.
and had 12 gates.
And it has how many gates? Who can tell me how many gates it has? Because they teach you in Christianity is one big golden gate, right? It said it has 12 gates. Read.
And the gates, and at the gates, 12 angels.
Those 12 angels are there to keep out whoever don't need to be in. You understand that? There's 12 gates, 12 angels at these gates. One per gate. Read.
And names written thereon.
And there's a name on each door or each gate.
And are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel.
What did it say, brother? Those gates have names of what? The tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel. Y'all heard that over here as well? The 12 tribes of Israel. So who can get into the kingdom? If there's 12 gates and each gate has a name for each tribe, who can get in? Can the Chinese get in? Can the Arab get in? Can the Buddhist get in? The Bible says Israel. He has a requirement for Israel to keep commandments so that they can inherit the tree of life, meaning the kingdom. Let's get that again in 22. And what was it, 14? Read it again. Watch
Revelation chapter 22, verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
And can get in through the gates with an S at the end. Can get in through the gates. So if you keep commandments, you can get in through the gates. But the gates have 12 names. I don't know about you, but if you live in a residential area and you come visit and it has a gate, you got to click on that box and find what? A name of somebody that lives there that you can call to get into that gate, right? Our people, you got all these flavors, and our people always find a way to include everybody else. When God said, I'm not including everybody else. You only have I known out of all the races on the earth. You are so special. I chose you to be above everybody. Why do you think black people are the best athletes, singers, inventors, cooks? Nobody wants to go to white people when it comes to food. Would you have a cookout and invite them to be the chef? Hell no. I hope you don't. I'm not going to that cookout. Would you invite them to be the special guest singer? Or would you invite the Cardi B's and the Megs and the Nickies, even though they crazy as hell? But you're gonna invite them, the Rick Rosses. You're gonna invite them. You're not gonna invite no Tim McGraw and all this stuff. You're not bringing them in. You're bringing our people in because we're the most talented. We're the best according to what God said. Now, you're in second Esdras?
Yep.
Watch what God says about everybody else, because the brother right here asked a good question as well as yourself. Where did white people come from, and why is it about race with God? Watch this.
Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all creatures.
So he made Adam. We can agree on that, right? Read.
Of him come we all.
We all come from Adam, right? We can agree on that. As people like to say, one blood. We all one people. Okay.
And the people also whom thou hast.
Now you hear a separation. He says, and the people who you have chosen. Now watch what he says. Read.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord,
because
thou madest the world for our sake.
Who's the world supposed to belong to?
Our sake.
It's supposed to be made for us. The world was made for us. You understand that? But the problem is we want to share it with everyone else. Anybody here saw Black Panther? Do you remember what Killmonger said about the city of Wakanda? You remember he didn't want to share it? And he was mad at the Black Panther, T'Challa, because he wanted to open it up for the world to use their metals, their precious metals, in order for them to make weapons with. What do you think Killmonger was trying to do? Read that part again.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sake.
Everybody painted Killmonger as the bad guy in the movie, when in reality he said, no, I don't want to share Wakanda with nobody else. This is ours. That's the reason why he fought his brother to dethrone him so that he can run Wakanda and not share it with nobody. Because the Bible says the world was made for us. The problem we have is that we always try to unify. As greater leaders as we've had with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, and the list goes on. You know what we always try to do? We find a way to coexist with everybody else instead of saying, no, we need to be our own. We need to come back to God and do our thing. We tried that with Black Wall Street, with Rosewood here in Florida. But guess what happened? It failed because we didn't use the commandments. God said anytime that we use anything outside of his laws, we fail. We fail. That's the stipulation for God. You are great and above everybody else as long as you keep my commandments.